All right, hey, welcome back, or to, or from, or whatever. Just finished up a really stressful session of Siege of Jerusalem, and stressful from the perspective not that I didn't have fun or that it was aggravating to play or anything like that. Mainly stressful from the perspective that we didn't know what we were doing. Or at least two-thirds of us didn't. Anyway. I think Brady and I both of us were having a kind of double check on a lot of the rules and bits and pieces, and so that took a little bit of the energy out of me in particular. And I knew I was making mistakes because the very opening turn of Siege of Jerusalem from Avalon Hill, you have this advance of the Romans up to the walls and all the rest of it, and I took the first round of fire from some of the Roman artillery and whatnot, and the militia units, the little 2-6 movement rate guys, when they're fired at and they're on the walls, they get a +1 DRM added to the roll when they're being attacked. It's not a good thing. The archers, on the other hand, or the regulars, they don't get that DRM. But if you put those guys out on the wall, and you can only put one guy on the wall unless there's a bastion or a fortress, you get you can stack more guys in those things. You put too many of those out on the wall, I get their heinies kicked. So there's just no stacking on the walls unless you've got a cauldron or some sort of other weapon like that, a piece of artillery. So long story short was that that kind of cycling in and out of units and pieces was a little awkward, and then when it came to the melee phase, I was like, well, there's no point attacking it 1-1. I'm not going to do any damage, and there's no point attacking it 1-2, and there's really no point attacking it 2-1. And I was also curious that, and I'm kind of jumping right into this only because I just got home 2 minutes ago. I got some ice, and I'm going to let that melt down and water down my little cocktail, and then have a sip and chill out. But there were some things that are fresh on my mind. I want to share them. A lot of people talk about how fantastic this game is, and I think it's an interesting game, and I like it. I'd probably go out. I'm probably going to go buy a copy and play it. I think it'll make a great solo game. Absolutely fantastic solo game. However, as we're going through the Roman melee phase, they just start making 1-1 attacks, 1-2 attacks, even 1-3 attacks. They get a couple of DRMs, so if they roll a 6 and get lucky, they roll a 6 and they get a +1 for whatever reason it is, whatever, a stacked cohort or a legion altogether, 3 cohorts from the same legion, I guess is what we want to call it. They get these bonuses. So all of a sudden a 1-2 attack makes sense. So about 3/4 of the way through the game, when I lost a fortress, was it a fortress or a... You know what I just realized? I don't think we tripled in fortresses. I think we only doubled. Anyway, check that. It was a bastion I was in. I lost a bastion at 1-2 odds. The dude rolls and attacks with 1-2, kills a unit. He's then allowed to have another attack, kills another unit, and then I ended up having to retreat out. And I was like, that's not right. And the other thing, I think what I was trying to say earlier on, the other thing about the wall combat is if I'm attacking you, and I'm on a wall, and you're a Roman on the wall, and I'm a Jew on the wall, and I attack you, your defense is doubled as well. So both sides, even though you're both on the wall, you're on the rampart, and you're fighting each other on the wall, the defense is still doubled. I would have thought it would have both been just plain Jane normal. So now I go from being the defender, defending, being doubled on the rampart against towers at the same height, and escalades and all these other things, I'm doubled. But when I'm on the wall facing you, where I'm doubled and you're not, and if I try and push you off the wall, then you're doubled and I'm not. And it would seem to me that it should just be a straight 1-to-1 attack. But anyway, not a 1-to-1, but a combat factor to combat factor attack. All well and good. We killed a bunch of Jews and we killed a bunch of Romans. We had a lot of fun. I got 24 out of 24 replacement units in. I bled myself dry. We had at the end of the first action phase. So there's 7 turns to a phase unless you agree to play night time, and then at the end of those 7 phases, I've got the notes here. There were 296 Roman factors killed. Excluding, there was no artillery killed, no leaders killed. I almost got Titus. Almost got him. Disrupted him twice. And this stupid doubling business, that's when I threw my die across the room, and I'll tell you about that in a second. That was hilarious. We almost killed Titus twice. But we lost 271 as the Jews. We lost 271 combat factors plus an Onega, 4 cauldrons, and I think 3 batteries of catapults. So it was pretty bloody. We only in the New City area of the map, and you need to know the game to know what that means. But it's the weakest, biggest area of Jerusalem. We only managed to retain one fortress hex. There were probably 5 breach hexes, and I think by the time we got to the end of the 7th turn, we agreed that the Romans were probably had treated the Jews enough, the Judeans enough to be able to take the 15 city hexes they would have been required to take. So we called it a draw. I would probably call it a Roman win. But we called it a draw out of politeness, I think. Everyone was probably feeling bad for me since I got an ass kicked for 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, however long we were playing. 10 till 9 till 6. Yeah, it was a long time. However long it is, I don't know. 9 hours. So, fun stuff. You can tell it's an old game. There are very few games that have sieges that are good. There's another Avalon Hill game called Siege of Elysia. I haven't played that. I don't like the rules for Siege of Elysia for GMT, the Great Battles of History. That the rules there don't work with the Zocs and stuff. It's kind of whack. There's the SBI series, I guess, the Siege series. That's kind of more cannonade times, though, that era of guns and muskets and pikes and things. So nothing ancients that I know of, much else, that has enough chrome to make it interesting. Really like the missile system, made it feel like that the different terrain types worked effectively. We all got really frustrated with the rolling ones. You know, I mean, there were a lot of ones rolled, and to have a well-planned attack by the Romans just all come to naught because this one was rolled here. And the very next turn you roll a 6 and everything's honky-dory. It was a little annoying, a little frustrating. That's just a personal preference, I guess. And then the other thing that bothered me is it's super attacker-friendly. If you're attacking, then you're doing good because you have no chance of losing anything. There are no losses for the attacker at all, ever. And that's just not how it works, right? That's not how combat works. So that's okay. It's an old game, and you got to kind of let it be what it is for what it is. We had a lot of fun, beautiful maps, interesting counters. Got through the first inner phase and decided to call it there. We expected to get through 2 today, but we didn't. We may reconvene it, but I doubt it. We'll probably seen enough of that game for a little while. We talked about the second attack phase and what would happen and where the Romans might attack and what would be ideal, and is it suitable just to kind of sit back and pound away with artillery for quite a while and start bleeding the Jews that way. The Jews are going to get 90% of their forces back, so whether however much you lose, it's kind of whatever. You just get them all back. It's not until you lose another section of the city that you start to get substantially less reinforcements back, and that's kind of part of the problem, I think, with the game. While I think the next tactical puzzle will be interesting, we really play, wash, rinse, repeat. and or rinse and repeat, whatever it is you say. And I think after 7 turns of that, I'd had enough of it. I think the guys that we were playing with had enough of it. We didn't even ask each other if we wanted to play another phase. We all kind of, well, we're done. We're done for the day. So I think a good game always leaves you wanting to play one more turn, regardless of how tired you are. And we got 3. I'm not really a hardcore gamer. I don't think I'm not. I haven't been around forever playing. I'm really just 3 years back into it. But these 2 other guys are hardcore guys, and they were done. They were done. So that's So one thing I didn't do was tell you about my die throwing incident, and I wanted to let you know that there's been some Board Game Geek comments going around that things that will get you kicked out of a game and things that will never have you invited back. You don't want to come and play with us because we don't do things the normal way. And it's important to know that when you're going to lose your temper about something, you're not losing it at the people. You're losing it at the dice. Or the die. And in this case, this frickin' black die. I don't know how many times I said, God bless it, or I'm gonna hurt someone. But when you roll 3 or 4 ones in a row, and they all matter, at this point, they just all matter, it's just so frustrating. So I actually threw the die across the room and let it go bye-byes. And Brady, nice guy Brady, goes and picks it up, brings it back, and puts it down on the 6 just to show me, that it was a 6. Just to rub it in. And we swapped die on a regular basis. We were, running from the black one to the red one to the yellow one. And it really didn't make any difference. But it sure did feel good to throw that freaking thing. And there was a lot of cussing. There was a lot of cussing at the dice. There was a lot of discussion about the accuracy of the dice and how stupid the combat table was because one never did any good. It didn't matter how often you got one. Even at 7-1, you didn't do any good. But just a little sidebar there. It's important to know that dice are evil. So what else about the game that was? It's a fun game. We had a good time, and I just a little frustrated with with the die rolling, and the rest is just the game is old. It's an older game. It has an older approach to it, and it takes things from a different perspective, I think, than perhaps you might do today if you were designing a game. I don't know. That's just my viewpoint. I'm probably wrong. I've been wrong before, but you'll never know. Bye.